Here's an easy, simple way of how to do a set of kick panels in a Volkswagen Bug. You got the with and without speaker. There's many different ways you could do this. You could angle the speaker more directly towards the people and do it for imaging, and you could glass them in and do many different variations. This is just an easy, simple way of doing it that I've found. I'll kind of try to walk you guys through it. First, you just pull the carpet off. Be careful as you're pulling it off to make sure you get the glue and everything away from the carpet so you don't pull and snag the carpet itself. Once you get this piece of carpet out of the way, you're working with the firewall. You're basically, in essence, going to be taking the speaker and placing it directly right there. And so that's basically where the speaker lays. But all you do, pull all the carpet out of the way, like I said, get everything down and out. And basically, you're just looking to take a piece of cardboard. Usually I use a priority box, kind of works out easy. You sit there, and all you're trying to do is cut a little bit of the corner off here, so the box, instead of it going straight, you have it kind of angled out, and then you want to get the main angle along the bottom. And usually that whole philosophy seems to work out pretty good. You could go directly all the way up to the top and have it seam right here, or you could cut them shorter. It all depends on how you like to do it. I do it this way because of the shelf, but more on that later. So basically, you cut this out, you get it figured out, you find the speaker placement, make sure the speaker generally goes in that general area. You may notice it doesn't want to fit all the way in. It doesn't seem like it fits. It will when it's all done. Then you take that and you cut it into a board, and you do trace it out. I cut my panel a little bit shorter because I do like having the lower height. And so basically you just try finding a placement of where it really sets good in there. And so you get a good seam down here. This seam's nice and good and tight. And you just have the opening right here and a little bit of an opening back there. Take a couple of self-tapping screws. You lock one end right up here. And you don't really want to crank it down too tight either. And then one down here in the heater channel is usually two good places to mount it that I've found. Once you have those down tight, on the heater channel, make sure to put it on the curb because that presses this portion down and gets a nice good seal up there, so you're not having to put a screw into the wheel well. So once you have that in place, of course, you double check to make sure your speaker placement's right. And as you can see, it's basically there. It's a little tight, but this is a 6.5 with a nice good size magnet. So you do know it's a big speaker. From there, I cut a couple pieces of foam in a triangle pattern, just for extra stability, just to make this a little bit more solid, and then same with this back area. And like I said, there's multiple ways of doing this. This is just a good general, easy, simple way I can do this with this car that I'm selling, so it's not a personal vehicle anyway. But then you take the other piece, stick it in the back, get as much of a nice good seal on it as you can. From there, you either use Home Depot, or you can do numerous different panels, such as any type of Dynamat or soundproofing material. I personally like the roll stuff that has a little bit of a padded backside, and then the aluminum front side for the heat transfer. Any type of material, just as long as you can get a good adhesion with it, will work. You could fiberglass it in. numerous things you can do, like I said. This is just a quick general thing I've done. Make sure to use 3M Super 90 glue or better, and then spray all the panels nice and well. Do not get it on the carpet. This front area I usually try doing extra good, but of course you don't want to have too much overspray. Definitely do it in a ventilated area. Then you take a couple of strips and you start locking the panel in place. Usually I start off with the front. I get a nice good line going, so that way I know it's not going to stick out from where the carpet's going to cover. And you start locking it down in place. You do need to wait for this stuff to dry up a little bit more, but hopefully as the video goes on I'll be able to keep going with it. I'm trying to keep this video as short as I can so it's not a bunch of just basically talking, but the basic concept's there, so hopefully you guys can get the idea and the gist and figure it out on your own. Take it whichever direction you'd like. And basically with the top panel, I would make sure I get a nice good stretch on it. So you're kind of pulling it back, trying to get a little bit of the imaging. Start tucking that in place. Like I said, I like to form it because I'm going to be putting a shelf in here. I need to cut a few more strips before I'm done. So as you can see, I'm just trying to build up the panel, and then finally I'm going to close the rear. Come in here. Actually, I'm going to have to wait a second longer just because the screw is a little tacky. So you start up high, get a nice good lock on it, and start getting that pulled back. Once you have that general form, you can work it from there. Like I said, I am kind of rushing this just for the video, but and once you have a pretty good seal around the whole general panel, once you have it all generally locked in nice and good, then you can come back with full sheets. And you want to start off from the front and work your way back just so you have the extra material back there. I usually go all the way down to the floorboard. Get a nice, as good of a line as I can on it. And once you do, start working the panel back. Wish I went out and left that gap, but it is what it is. And take another sheet, work your way from the top. Don't really want to go any farther than that. And this piece, you may end up having to trim. If you're lucky and you don't get it all over the place, you do exactly that. Once you get that all into place, that's all locked in nice and good. I'm going to keep going. Then you grab the razor blade, find the speaker hole, give it a nice good line on it as much as you can. Might as well not waste the material. Double check your speaker placement, make sure everything still looks good. Make sure to run a speaker wire in there, by the way. Beforehand, you can drop it right through. Worst case scenario, you can punch through, but makes it easier. And then boom, as you can see, speaker fits just perfect. From there, all you do is simply take the spray glue on top, get a nice good seam down this line. I wish I wasn't rushing this as bad, but I want to show you guys as quick as I can so it's not a waste of your time. I know a lot of you guys will say the imaging's not right or the panel's not really that tight in there. You can add as many screws as you want. You can fiberglass it in. There's so many things you can do. This is just a quick general slap it in, get it done. Always make sure to spray both sides of every panel. Get everything back out of the way as good as you can. Let that tack up as much as I can. And start realigning your carpet kit. You want to make sure you go under the firewall there so you're not catching glue all over the place. Get this line as good as you can. I need to go up. Get a nice little stretch. Because you want to have that tucked in there nice. Smooth that on. Glue your carpet back down into place. Of course, you'd be spray gluing all this carpet back in. I'm not going to do that right now to show you guys, but and as you can see, doesn't even really look like there's anything in there. And then you have it with the speaker. So basically you're going to want to just cut the circle out for the speaker, drop the speaker in place, and you're basically done. You could go ahead and run it over the run the carpet over the speaker if you really wanted to. You would have a lot of sound loss through this type of carpeting, but the choices are yours. Here's the finished product, and you do get decent imaging. You could change the angle of it real easy, whether it was cranking it down different ways, doing spacers, numerous aspects you could do. As for the reason the speakers aren't so high is because I like to do a shelf. I cut another panel just like what was there, and this just drops right into place. Hold on, let me get it in. First time test fitting. And in essence, it goes somewhere along those lines. You can get the general idea. And so, that's a nice, easy, simple way of doing it. Let me know what you think.